I say a few words to welcome you.
Thank you.
To express, and also to welcome everyone here. Express our deep gratitude for you being here. It's a joy, a profound joy to have you here, and a sense of support that you are giving. Your presence, as I told you already, is a pure blessing for us because of who you are, and what probably the words that defines you the best is pilgrim of life, pilgrim of love, pilgrim of peace. So receiving you here with this group of future pilgrims is
and present pilgrim. Fellow pilgrims.
It's a source of inspiration.
Yes.
Through also your wisdom that you have acquired with the years, and all what you have done, in particular this huge peace pilgrimage. And also with you here, it's also for us an opportunity to honor the lineage, your lineage, Vinoba in particular. Maybe we'll have the opportunity to talk about him.
Yes.
Gandhi.
Yes.
And yeah, the Indian tradition in general.
Yeah.
But with you, with Vinoba, with Gandhi, there is this very special connection between spirituality and social commitment. A social commitment, a commitment for justice and peace that is rooted in a deep understanding, a deep experience, deep practice of spirituality. So we certainly want to honor them and also thank for their invisible presence here today and support. So we said I would ask you a few questions and you would reply, then we'll have the opportunity also for you to ask a question at some stage. And of course my first question is, what is a pilgrim?
Thank you for your very kind words of welcome and appreciation. I'm also delighted to be here, to be your guest in this beautiful place, and I'm delighted to meet you all, my fellow pilgrims. For me, to be a pilgrim is to be non-judgmental. Either you can be a pilgrim or you can be a tourist. When you are a tourist, you judge. This is a good hotel, it's a bad hotel, it's a good restaurant, it's a bad restaurant, good museum, bad museum. You judge, you criticize. You are never satisfied. You always expect something. And when you don't get what you expect, you are disappointed. So pilgrim is unjudgmental, non-judgmental, accepts life as it comes. And life always has ups and downs, dark and light, winter and summer, birth and death, health and illness. Everything is in life. Life is not just one smooth as tourists want. So pilgrim is to accept life, be contented and be active at the same time. But active as a way of participation, without judgment, way of communication, way of appreciation, way of transformation. And transformation comes through participation rather than through preaching or judging or criticizing. So acceptance, and from the acceptance, action. So pilgrim moves. Pilgrim goes from one place to another place. Sometimes psychologically, a pilgrim moves. Sometimes physically, also pilgrim moves. And for pilgrim, you can go on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, to Santiago, to Varanasi, to Ganges, to Himalayas, to Mount Kailash, These are sacred places. But also, every day you live a life of acceptance and participation and celebration. That's a pilgrim.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you did this amazing pilgrimage in the 60s, living from Delhi to going to Washington through so many countries, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Georgia, Russia, and so on. So you have learned a lot from this 2 years journey. What can we learn from your journey? What would you, from this experience, what would you transmit us?
What I was walking from India to Moscow, Paris, London, Washington, and then Tokyo to Hiroshima, I went through many countries. So there were different countries. I went to Muslim countries, I went to Christian countries, communist countries, capitalist countries, rich countries, poor countries. So you can always criticize and judge. So my commitment or my approach in my pilgrimage was to love everyone. So when I was in Muslim countries, I said, you are Muslims, I love you. When I came to Christian countries, I said, you are Christians, I love you. When I came to communist countries, Soviet Union, I said, you are communist, I love you. When I came to capitalist countries like Europe and America, I said, you are capitalist, I love you. So only thing was that if I love someone, then I can communicate without judging. So when you go on a pilgrimage, my advice as a pilgrim would be to be free of blaming, because we can always blame somebody for a problem. So somebody can blame Russia, somebody can blame Ukraine, somebody can blame Palestinians, somebody can blame Hamas, somebody can blame Israel, somebody can blame Hindus, somebody can Muslims. You can always find somebody's fault. But a pilgrim, as I tried, not to look at somebody's faults in people, but see, we are all part of a system and nobody's perfect. So without judging how we communicate with people and try to find a mutual solution, mutual peace together. So if you are Russians or Ukrainians or Gaza or Jews, Israel, whoever you are, without blaming any one party or the other, so how can you come together? How can you talk to each other? How can you share a cup of tea together? How can you live and let live? How can we be that? So that's the only thing I did, is to not judge or complain communist or capitalist or whoever, not to find somebody to blame, but to find a mutual, agreeable way forward which everybody can follow. So that was my sort of approach in my pilgrimage. And I found that in those days nuclear bombs and disarmament was very strong, and now it's not so strong. Nuclear issue is not so strong. We are more looking for climate change and global warming and ecological, environmental issues and so on are much more in the forefront of people's thinking and mind. So even at that time, I was saying that before I can make peace in Russia or America or whatever, I have to make peace in myself. Peace begins, I am the universe, I am Russia, I am America. I am the history. I am the past. I am the future. So I have to make peace in myself, with myself, and be at peace. If I am not being peace, I cannot make peace. I cannot ask other people to be peaceful. And therefore, first step I took for myself and my friend, we were two together, is to be at peace within ourselves. Be the radiator of peace. You are radiating peace. And that radiator is what Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change, be peace, be the change that you want to see in the world. And then, of course, making peace with all people, irrespective of their nationality, their religion, their politics, their economic system, their whatever they believe in. Celebrate diversity. It's good that somebody is a communist, it's good that somebody is a capitalist, it's some good, as long as you do no harm to anybody. That's the only thing that I ask people, can you agree not to do harm? And people do agree to that in principle. So do no harm, and then you are free to believe in whatever you want to believe. This is what our Western idea is, to have freedom of thought, freedom of opinion, freedom of ideas, that freedom. But we don't practice that freedom. We are always saying, no, everybody should be like us. Everybody should be a capitalist. Everybody should have a free market. Everybody should have this, that, or the other. And so, as long as you do no harm, everybody is free to believe in whatever they want to believe. If somebody wants to be Hindu, they can be Hindu. Somebody wants to be Muslim, somebody can be Muslim. Whatever you believe, as long as you do no harm, that's the peace. So that's what I practiced in my life, in my pilgrimage.
There was also an important element because you decided to go without any money.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of unexpected things, or there was this dimension of trust.
Yeah.
That was an essential element. And for us, of course, there has been question when we met already. We say, are we really going to start not knowing where we are going to sleep in the evening, although we will have tents with us and so on? There's a lot of uncertainty. So how did you live and manage uncertainty?
Now, we were in a different position than how you are planning. We were only two individuals. So that's easier to go somewhere and find little food and little school or church or somebody's house, somebody's veranda, somebody's living room, and you can put your sleeping bag and you can sleep. So with two people it was easier. The reason we took no money is wars begin in fear. And peace begins in trust. How do I demonstrate and show that I trust everyone? Whoever you are, I trust you. If I have money, I don't need to trust anybody. I can buy my food, I can buy my room in a hotel, I can buy my clothes, I can buy my shoes. Money makes me independent in a way, to some extent. So, to trust myself, to trust other people, whoever they are, I have to show that I am vulnerable. I have nothing. I trust you. And so I decided not to take any money with my friend. And sometimes we went hungry. And we said, this is our opportunity to fast. Sometimes we had no home, no bed. We slept under the stars. And we said, this is our 1,000,000-star hotel, rather than a 5-star hotel. And so, with two people, it was easier. And also we were going through more you can say, difficult terrain. Afghanistan, we had to climb up to 12,000 feet. I don't know how many meters that would 4,000. Be. 4,000 meter high Hindu Kush mountains in Afghanistan. And the desert of Iran, you can walk 50, 60 miles without meeting any village. and no, I mean, carried water, but no food. We slept under the stars. And so our terrain was more difficult. Also Russia, 4 months in Russia. January, February, March, April. The winter months. Perhaps we didn't plan our schedule properly. We should have started in winter in India and summer in Russia, but we didn't. So we were in winter, very strong winter, 5 feet, 6 feet snow and so on. But we survived. We survived and we managed. And so it was easier for us, because just two of us, and going from India to Moscow and Paris and London and Washington and Tokyo and Hiroshima. I mean, it's a long journey. And so yours, it was a bit slightly different, because you are a bigger group and you are doing it in a different way. But the spirit is the same. The spirit of being peace within yourself and then making peace with other people and being not judgmental and not kind of blaming anyone and trying to work together and trusting everybody and being at peace within yourself, within your community. Even in your community, when you are together, you accept everybody as they are. No two human beings are same. Everybody is different. They are different talent, different temperament, different habits, different way of speaking, different way of doing. So accepting that differences, even within your community, and not complaining and not criticizing, somebody is wrong, somebody is right, but everybody is how they are. Neither wrong nor right. There is a beautiful line in Rumi, poet Rumi. He said, there's a field beyond right and wrong. I will meet you there. There's a field beyond right and wrong. I meet you there. So you transcend from these kind of judgmental ideas. So within your own community of pilgrims, we can be judgmental, we can be critical, we can be complaining about, you are not doing this right or you are not doing that right. But accepting warts and all, accepting other people as they are, making mistakes, fine. They are not doing rightly, fine. I'm making a lot of mistakes. Who am I to judge somebody else? And so that was how 2.5 years I stayed with my friend and we walked together and we are still friends. And so that's how I would like to see, yeah.
Maybe you could say a word about Vinoba. I told you.
Yes. He was my guru, my teacher. He was a very spiritual man. First time I met him when I was a monk. Maybe I was 15 years old. And I was so inspired by his journey. He was a true pilgrim. He wanted nothing for himself. He wore a loincloth and unstitched, no sweater, no jumper, no shirt, no trousers, just a little loincloth and a little shawl around his body. Very simple. And he said the spirituality and how we live in society are connected. And so without judging landlords, without criticizing landlords, without saying that you are exploiting poor people or you are such big landlord, why you have so much land, so much money and your workers are poor, without criticizing anybody, he went to the landlords and said, if you have 5 children, consider me representing the poor as your 6th child and donate 1/6 of your land for the poor, for the landless. And he was so kind and so humble and so gentle and so persuasive. Can you imagine? He walked for 10 years. He walked over 140,000 kilometers. All over India, north, south, east, west. And met all kinds of landlords, kings and princes and country gentry and every kind. and he was able to collect 4 million acres of land. I don't know, acres will be hectares, maybe.
It's equivalent of 3 times Belgium, more or less.
Yeah, maybe 3 million, 2.5, 3 million hectares, maybe, you think?
I think so, but what I remember, it was that the 2 figures were all 3 times Belgium, or even France, as a transfer of land from rich to poor.
Yeah,
thanks to
yeah,
him
yeah,
asking. And
yes. So that was a kind of miracle, and that came out of just love and trust and spirit of pilgrim and walking. When you are walking, you are touching the soil. You are being humble. You know, we are called humans. The word human comes from humus, and humus means soil. So human beings are soil beings. We are soil beings. And when you touch the soil, when you walk on the soil, and you are being humble, also humility comes from the same word, humus, humility. Human, humility, humidity, they all come from the same root. And so Vinoba walked on the soil, and he said, soil does not belong to us. Land does not belong to us. Nature does not belong to us. We belong to the soil. We belong to the earth. We belong to nature. So we must not feel we are the owners of land. As you cannot own the sunshine, you cannot own the rain, you cannot own the ocean, you cannot own the land. Land is an eternal gift from nature, from the universe. We come for 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, we live, we receive the gifts of land, and then we go. And land will still be there for our ancestors we have received and have borrowed from our future generations. And so this is a kind of spirit of Vinoba. And during that time when he was walking, he will teach us Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, languages, spiritual values, philosophy. I mean, he was a teacher. After walking for 1 or 2 hours, he will sit on a hill or under a tree or by the bank of a river and will spend 1 hour at a classroom and study about values, study about Quran, study about the Bible, study about Tolstoy, study about Upanishad, Vedas, anything. He was a great scholar. He had written maybe 100 books, great scholar, great writer. He knew 9 languages. He spoke French. He spoke Arabic. He spoke many Indian languages. He was a great scholar of Sanskrit. And so, selfless, true pilgrim, selfless. And he inspired so many people. I would say tens of thousands of students, professors, doctors, lawyers, politicians gave up their jobs and joined Vinoba, walking. And I gave up my monkhood and left monkhood and joined Vinoba. One night after midnight, I ran away from the monastery and joined Vinoba. So Vinoba was a great pilgrim, inspiring other people with great humility and great devotion for the people and for nature and for divine. He was a very spiritual man, but not any way kind of narrow religious, but spiritual. He translated Quran into Hindi to introduce the principle of Quran. He spoke Arabic, and he translated the Bible into Hindi for introduce the principles of the Bible. So for him, all religions were good. No criticism of anyone. And he did not want institutionalized religions, but more spiritual religions. And if you are Christians and you don't practice love, you are not a Christian. Just by calling yourself Christian and going to church on Sunday, but not practicing love, going to war, killing each other, that's not Christian. How can you be a Christian and kill each other and go to war? So practicing is spirituality. Believing is not enough. You can believe in Jesus Christ, you can believe in love, you can believe in the Bible, you can believe in the church, but you don't practice. and you go to war and kill hundreds of thousands of people. That's not being Christian. So spirituality for him was more important. Practice of religion was more important than just believing. He was a wonderful man. There's a beautiful book about him, his own words, called Moved by Love. You have read that.
Yes.
Moved by Love. And that's a wonderful book.
Yes. True. It was an inspiration for me to initiate this pilgrimage.
Yes.
I just want maybe the last before I give the floor to others. There is a book in your a sentence in your book from Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
It's not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. It was this word sacrifice that struck me. Je répète. It's not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it.
Love, peace, and sacrifice for it. You know, sacrifice word quite often is misunderstood, and we don't. Sometimes we don't understand and we don't like the word sacrifice. But sacrifice, the word sacred comes from sacrifice. Sacred. Fire is sacred. Water is sacred. Life is sacred. So sacrifice. So mother sacrifices her comfort to give birth to a baby. How much pain, the labor pain she has to go through in order to bring a new life in the world. And if mother said, no, I don't want to go through pain and labor and so on, she cannot bring a new life in the world. Feeding the baby is a sacrifice. When my mother, I remember telling me, when I peed in the bed, she slept on the wet side and put me on the dry side. That's a sacrifice. Motherhood is a great sacrifice. So Jesus Christ sacrificed his life. Mahatma Gandhi sacrificed not only that he died, but also he was in jail for 12 years. Martin Luther King sacrificed his comfort, and he was put in jail for 29 times. Can you imagine? Now we have a Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday, but he was put in jail by government 29 times. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in jail. Mother Teresa, she was, thrown out of the convent, excommunicated. Mother Teresa, she was alone, a young nun looking here and there, because she was told not to indulge in looking after old and sick and dying. And she said, no, I want to do that. So we have to sacrifice, but not sacrifice grudgingly. Sacrifice lovingly. So when I went around the world walking on feet, I had blisters, I had a pain, I was hungry, I was cold, I was without shelter, but I did with love. I didn't matter. I was not, but there was a sacrifice, but without feeling any kind of psychological pain. I said, this is what I want to do. Fasting is my opportunity. and whatever comes, I want to work for peace. So hardship and sacrifice is necessary. Good. And when you sacrifice or you go through sort of difficulties, you become more resilient. I mean, to climb Mount Everest, not easy, but people do it. And that's a sacrifice of their comfort. They are cold, they're carrying their weight on their back. They're climbing, but they want to do it with love. So you can do sacrifice not grudgingly, not hesitantly, but lovingly. That's a true sacrifice. If you are doing it grudgingly and hesitantly, that's not sacrifice. So I think we all need to embrace this beautiful word and a beautiful idea that I need to offer myself. I mean, if you want to help poor, if you want to help, I mean, Vinoba walking for 10 years, it's a great sacrifice. He could have been in his ashram, enjoying his life, no need to go walking every day, but he did it. So, pilgrimage is a bit of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your comfort, your home, your warm bed, and sleep in a camp or walk, and maybe sometimes not get food, the kind of food you want in your own home, cooked by yourself or by your mother or your wife or your husband. So there's a kind of hardship. Pilgrimage is not for the faint heart. Pilgrimage is not for the weak heart. But pilgrimage requires brave heart, and that requires sacrifice. You have to be courageous. Courage is needed to be a pilgrim. If you want to be comfortable, be a tourist.
Thank you, Satish. Maybe anyone wants to ask a question in French is also okay. Jean-Paul or somebody else would translate. Tu sais que je vois pas. I don't see, so maybe when you see somebody raising
Okay,
hands,
okay,
yeah.
yes.
Satish, I have maybe many questions, but I will start with one question, qui se commence avec une question. It's about peace. You say that everything starts with inner peace.
Yes.
But we live in a very agitated world, and we also have to participate to the world as it is now. So, what would you say that we could do, or we should do, or we should not do to keep this inner peace, or to find this inner peace? And basically, I'm thinking to young people, young generation today.
So you can say that adversity is an opportunity. If there was no apartheid, there would be no opportunity for Nelson Mandela to ask for equal rights for black and white. If there was no colonialism and imperialism, there would be no need for Mahatma Gandhi. So the world is not perfect. So if there's imperfection in the world, that's your opportunity to do something about it. And so see adversity as an opportunity. If somebody is ill, that's your opportunity to help them. If nobody is ill, you don't need a doctor. You don't need a nurse. When somebody is ill, that's an opportunity. We don't want anybody to be ill, but somebody is ill. It's not in our hand to control. If nobody was ill, that'd be good, but that's not the reality. So, doctor see that as an opportunity to help the patient of heart attack or cancer or whatever the problem is. So, when you see the world in turmoil, world in turmoil, it's not under your control. I wish there was no war in Ukraine. I wish there was no war in Gaza. I wish there was no climate change. I wish there was no any other problem. But problems are there. Now, what can I do? Either I can close my eyes and say, there's nothing to do with me. I'll just have my home and my food and my sleep and I'll do my job. And I have nothing to do with the world. You can do that. Or you can say, I'm going to do something about it. I take action, but out of love and sacrifice. So see the turmoil of the world, the agony of the world, the wars in the world, the poverty in the world, offering you an opportunity to serve, to help, to do something about it, bring peace in the world. So, and do it with love, without being agitated, without being blaming, without being angry. We are where we are. Where we go from here? That's all you have to say. Can we bring some peace in the world without blaming? Mahatma Gandhi did not blame anybody. He said, the English people should work with me, British people should work with me to bring an end to colonialism and imperialism. Because colonialism and imperialism is not only not good for India, it's not good for Britain. It's not that the war is not good for me in Europe. War is not good for Russia. War is not good for Ukrainians. They are killing hundreds of thousands of people. In Gaza, babies are being killed. Pregnant mothers are being killed. Schools are being destroyed. Hospitals are being destroyed. Not good for Israel. Not good for Hamas. So we are helping them for their good as well as for our good. Because our interests are common. We are all have the same interest. So act without anger, without anxiety, without blaming, without complaining, and still act to bring some solution in the world. Yes, please.
In the beginning of the evening, you talked a
Be a bit louder.
Yeah, in the beginning of the evening, you talked about acceptance, about letting go in the meditation as well. Can you share a little bit of your experience in how did that process go inside of you? For example, you said, well, it's raining, it's raining. How do you accept that fully? Because I have, inner resistance in those things. I can say, well, I accept. But, inside it still feels very resisting.
Ego.
But how do you let go of that?
The thing is that nothing can be overcome overnight. So if you have some issue of any kind, you have to find a way out of it step by step. Every day you have to be aware, you have to be mindful, you have to meditate, you have to say, what is my situation? What is my consciousness? What is my psychology? What is my thinking? Can I make my thinking such that it is good for me and good for the world? If I am self-centered, egotistical, worried, angry, anxious, this is not good for me and it's not good for the world. And so it's a kind of journey. It's a pilgrimage of life. Every day you have to work on yourself. Like you have a house. Every day you have to clean the dishes. Every day you have to sweep the room. Every day you have to put the carpet back in its right order. You have to every day wash your body. Every day you have to wash your clothes, or at least every week you have to wash your clothes. So in the same way, inside you have to do every day some cleaning of your anger, fear, ego, anxiety, worry, etc., etc. So it's like keeping your house nicely inside. So there's a house within your psyche, within your soul. That's your inner house. And that house gets anger, gets fear, gets ego, gets anxiety. All those things happen. In our relationship, you don't like somebody, you complain about somebody, you don't like your husband, you don't like your wife, you don't like your children. And then you say, but everybody has to be what they are. I'm not in control of everybody. I'll let go. I'll be calm. I will accept. I will be tolerant. I will be kind. I'll be generous. I'll do that. So you bring yourself, that's a kind of sweeping your floors, washing your dishes, washing your body, washing your clothes, washing your soul, washing your spirit. So that kind of meditation, that kind of awareness, reading poetry, singing songs like we had the songs, doing something art, something gardening, all those things are spiritual practice. Gardening is a great spiritual practice. Cooking is a great spiritual practice. Singing is a great spiritual practice. Reading and writing poetry is a spiritual practice. So if you do these things as a spiritual practice to improve your soul, your spirit, your kindness, your compassion, your generosity, you will be generous, you will be kind. Just awareness. Be aware of the state of your mind. If you are angry with somebody, that anger is not going to hurt the person with whom you are angry, it will hurt you. You think that my anger will hurt that person, but it's not hurt that person, it's hurting you. You are drinking the poison and hoping that somebody else will be killed. Because taking anger or fear, anxiety is like taking poison for yourself, and you think somebody else about whom you are angry will be hurt. They are not hurt, you are hurt. So be aware of the state of your mind, and be aware of your whole being. Then you can be, I mean, it's a journey, not in one day, it's a lifelong journey. We are on a journey to be more enlightened, more spiritual, more kind, so the direction of your travel has to be towards hope rather than despair, towards trust rather than fear. But we'll not be completely free. We are humans. Like your body will never be completely free of sweat or something. So you have to wash every day. So your soul will never be completely free of anger or fear finally. So you have to work every day. So as you wash your body, you wash your soul, you wash your spirit, you wash your consciousness, you wash your mind, and you practice and practice. And that way you are moving in the direction. And if you are washing your body every day, your body will be clean. And everybody will give to hug you and say, oh, you are beautiful, because you have washed your body. So in the same way, if you wash your soul and spirit and mind, people will say, I want to go with you, I want to talk with you, I want to go on a holiday with you, because you are so kind and you are so compassionate. So we grow our good qualities if we are aware, if we are mindful, if we pay attention. As we pay attention to our body and a room and a house, we have to pay attention to your soul and your spirit and your mind and your consciousness.
Oui, Baba.
Yes.
Je ne sais plus qui a dit que le chemin n'a pas de but, mais le but c'est le chemin.
So the path, the goal is not, le but n'est pas le chemin. Le chemin
n'a pas de but.
The path has no goal.
Yes.
The goal is the path.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ma seule réticence à ce beau pèlerinage, c'est qu'il y a tellement de migrants aujourd'hui par nécessité, des pèlerins vraiment par nécessité. Je me dis, est-ce que je mendierais le pain qui devrait revenir à d'autres qui en ont plus besoin?
So the question Baba has is the fact that they are today, and it is kind of create an hesitation for her to be part of a pilgrimage like this, is that there are so many migrants that are forced to be moving and also are in need of bread, and by doing that we would be kind of how do you say that? Competing for the same bread in a way. That's what you mean, huh? C'est ce que tu veux dire.
Competing for the same breath.
Then the migrants that are in needs,
yeah.
And we also walking almost on the same routes.
Yeah.
And that maybe we would be
taking
their bread.
Their bread.
Yeah.
I mean, there is plenty of bread. There is no shortage of bread. We are wasting a lot of resources. And if we use resources, you plant one apple seed in the ground, that one tiny apple seed gives you 1,000 apples. Nature is so abundant. If you share and care for immigrants and migrants and refugees and yourself, we can all be fed by nature. So nature gives enough for everybody. Mahatma Gandhi used to say that nature provides enough for everybody's need, but not anybody's greed. So as long as you are not greedy, you are not wasting, you are not using more than you need, then nature is abundant. So don't worry. Be on a pilgrimage. and goal and the path are not separate. This is why my book is called No Destination. There is no goal. What is the goal of this meeting? Is to meet. What is the goal? There's nothing to achieve. After the meeting, what we are talking is achievement. This is the path. This is the path. So every day you cook, every day you clean. Every day you read poetry. Every day you sing. There's no goal that I sing today so that tomorrow I can be famous or something. Even if you become famous, you get Nobel Prize winner, still it's a process. You are not contented if you are not contented. So being contented in the action itself, that's our prerogative. And then what happens, goal, what achieved or not achieved, is not in our hands. If we focus on achievement, we are not focusing on the action that we need to do. We're worried about what am I going to achieve, what am I going to achieve, what am I going to achieve. You are worried about achievement, the goal, and not focusing on the action, the process, the journey, the pilgrimage you are making today. So every step is your goal. Every moment is your goal. Live in the present moment. This is the moment, the best moment that you had. At this moment, you can ask a question. You can come to Satish Kumar. You can write a poem. You can sing a song. You can plant a seed. You can do what you like in this moment. No tomorrow. Tomorrow, we don't know. Tomorrow, I might be dead. But today, I'm alive. So today is the best day. You said you have more than one question. Please ask.
Another question is, so you talk about Gandhi and Martin Luther King, and in the idea of this pilgrimage is maybe to go to travel and to meet difficult, how to say in English, rencontrer des situations difficiles.
Challenging situation.
Challenging situation in terms of maybe security, or maybe we will be faced to strong injustice against ourselves or against other people, and we will see that, and we would like to not to just stay like that, but to do something. So I was thinking maybe we should be trained into non-violence practice, non-violence way to behave all together.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it, and can you tell something about it?
Training in non-violence,
Yeah,
practice in non-violence. So making pilgrimage is the training in non-violence. So when you begin the pilgrimage, having this kind of discussion is to prepare. And this preparation is to see pilgrimage is not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. It will be challenging, as you said, challenging situation. But I want to go on a pilgrimage, not for comfort, not for ease, not for solutions, not for answers, not for or anything, but for challenging situation. I want to take up the challenge, and I want to enjoy my pilgrimage, whatever the difficulties, whatever the hardship, whatever the challenge, whatever happens, I will want to do it. That commitment, that dedication is necessary. Because if you want to say a pilgrimage should be easy and should be no challenging situation and no difficulty and no hardship and no disappointment, then you better stay at home. But at the same time, if you accept positively the challenges, you will find challenges good and you will enjoy it. I mean, Nelson Mandela, 27 years in jail, was challenging. And he was offered many times, you can be free, go home and don't speak about anything. He said, no, as long as apartheid is there, I'm not going home. I'm staying in jail. So that hardship, Mahatma Gandhi said, I'll go to prison like a groom goes to wedding chamber. A groom
Le marié va dans la chambre
to a wedding chamber. Yeah. So I'll go to jail like a groom goes to a wedding chamber. I'm going to get getting married. So that's a kind of positive mind makes a difficult situation enjoyable. I enjoyed my journey 2.5 years walking without money, and I enjoyed all the hardship and challenging situation, but I accepted it as a positive thing to do. Even small things like traveling now, coming to Belgium, takes challenging situation. You have to buy a ticket, you have to go to station, you have to get into a train, you have to make a Eurostar, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to... But enjoyable, it's enjoyable. Meeting you all, wonderful. So you have to accept the challenges. Without challenges, no journey is possible. Any other questions? Yes? Yes?
I had a question about where should a pilgrimage start? Because and today, what would make sense for you to start walking? Of course, within us and every day. But for you, what makes sense for a pilgrim? Like where do we need to go? Where to?
You
walk?
mean physically or psychologically?
More physically.
Physically.
Yes. What makes sense
I mean,
today?
this is something each and every one of us can decide. You can go on a pilgrimage on Santiago de Compostela and a Camino. You can go on a pilgrimage to Rome. You can go on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. You can go pilgrimage to Ukraine. You can go to pilgrimage to India, Mount Kailash. You can go to Ganges. And it's a pilgrimage is a kind of state of mind, and you choose a location in order to find yourself and your peace in your heart and experience a kind of a little bit of hardship and a little bit of challenging. So it doesn't matter which route you choose. You can decide as a group where to start and which route to take and where to go. You can decide that. For me, it makes no difference. As long as you are a pilgrim, you are walking and you are going to people and you're going into nature and you are being calm and experiencing a new transformation in your own inner psyche and your soul. That's what really matters psychologically. Physically, where you go, it doesn't really... You decide that as a group where you want to go. That doesn't matter. I mean, yes. Okay? Okay.
Yeah. As you know, we are going to go as a group, and as you said, we are all different, and we want different things, and we have different habits and way of life.
Yeah.
Which kind of advice could you give us so that we are sure we can maintain peace all around in the group?
Yes.
Because we might divert in our choices or in our wishes.
Yeah.
And before starting, which kind of advice would you give us?
So my advice is simply to celebrate the diversity of group. Yeah. Diversity of group. Yeah. And do not expect anybody to behave in any particular way. Let them behave the way they think best for them to behave. And you are all adults and you all know how to behave. So diversity is the yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Celebrate diversity.
Could you give us some advice how to find this difficult balance between our inside pilgrimage and the pilgrimage towards people that we will meet during when we walk? It's time to get inside and time to get outside.
Yeah. So first thing you or I say or whoever is pilgrim say to oneself that I need to go through the experience of being a pilgrim. I am confined to my home, my job, my daily routine. I do all these things. I need to bring out of this situation myself and go on a pilgrimage, which is a bit more time when you are free, thinking, free in the world, not confined with your smartphone or your emails or your jobs or your family or your children. You need 6 months or 1 year. Particularly in India, we say that if you are 50 and you have not been on a pilgrimage, it's a time for you to go. That's a particular age. Because 25, up to 25, You are learning about the world, acquiring the skills and knowledge. And then from 25 to 50, you have family, you have a job, you have work, you have children, you do family thing. Then after 50, hopefully, your children are grown up and you have accumulated enough money for everybody, and now you can leave them and then go on a pilgrimage. So I was 50 in 1986, and I did 2 pilgrimages. One around Great Britain, without money, walking alone, myself. And I started from Devon, and I took April, May, June, July, 4 months, 2,000 miles, or 2.5 or 3,000 kilometers, but 2,000 miles. And I went all the way up to Scotland, Iona, and then back to Wales, and back to Devon. So all around Britain. So this is my circumambulation, like going around a temple, I'm going around this island. And then second trip I did the same age, after 50, was Mount Kailash in Himalayas. So I went I went by aeroplane to Nepal, and then I walked from Nepal to Tibet for a week. And then 4 days around Mount Kailash, walking, circumambulation, and this time 18,000 feet high mountain. How many meters? 6,000 meters. 6,000 meters high. And then around Mount Kailash, and walk back 1 week, and then flew back to England. So there are 2 pilgrimages I did. And that was my experience. So in a kind of challenge and finding myself, who am I? What can I do? And if you are at home and you're busy with your family and job and editing magazine and teaching at Schumacher College and so on, you don't have that time. But when you are walking around Mount Kailash, you have kind of freedom which you don't have at home. So it's a very good moment. And it doesn't matter how long you take. You can take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 1 week. It's up to you. But take some time off. And it's a kind of spiritual holiday. It's a spiritual holiday. And you are going on your 2 legs and on the soil and walking. No problem. No problem. And your soul will be nourished and nurtured and strengthened. Spirit will be strengthened. And you'll be healthy. I'm 88 and I'm good health because I've been a pilgrim. Walking. Okay? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
It means